Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna give you guys an update on the Jeep. We've done a lot since the last video. If you guys want to check out full in-detail videos, make sure to check out Boosted Motorsports. He's over here somewhere. He has full in-depth video. He's uploading every day until we finish the Jeep, so make sure to go check it out. And like I said, we've done a lot to the Jeep. Boosted painted the engine bay. We did use some spray paint, but this is really good stuff. He just covered up the motor and painted all around it. It looks really good. We also finished up the floors. The Jeep came with some spare pieces of sheet metal, which we cut out and welded in. This thing is solid now. We also did seam sealer on the top and the bottom, so everything is waterproof. And since we are running the XJ interior in here, we're gonna fit up the dash, make sure all the tabs are good. That's what we're gonna do today. As well as the XJ seats. We took these out of the spare XJ. I drilled them all out and then we welded them in here. That way the seats will bolt up like a stock Jeep would. We're gonna use this stud here, and then we gotta add another one over here. This one is too far in the middle. But we coated this with bed liner, the same stuff I used on my bumper for my WJ. And then we ran out, actually. We didn't have enough. We did as much as we could with bed liner and then sprayed it with spray paint after, just to make it look all even. And it's honestly looking really good. We ended up stripping that Jeep, took out all the wire harness because the Comanche had this thing here and it looks like a mess and we don't want to mess with it. We only have like 20 something days left to finish the Jeep, so we took out the whole harness and right now it's what we're gonna fit up. Eventually we'll go through it and take out plugs that we don't need, things like that, but for now we're gonna fit it up and see how it's gonna work. Another thing is, since we are adding a ton of power to the Jeep, this Jeep has the Dana 35, which you guys know is a pretty weak axle, and I don't think it'll last anything over like 150 horsepower. Surprisingly enough, we didn't think to check this Jeep. And I was under it when I was taking out the wire harness, and I'm like, yo, that axle looks like the Dana 44A, similar. And then I looked at the cover on the rear, and we actually have the Chrysler 8 1/4 axle on that Jeep there, so we're gonna take that out and put it in here. That axle is actually a really strong axle. This is from a 2001 Jeep, so it has the 29 spline over the 27, like the older 8 1/4 axles. So this one's actually beefy. That's what we're gonna throw on this Jeep. It won't be this episode, but eventually we'll get to it. So we're gonna try fitting up the wire harness and the dash again, just to make sure everything's gonna be good. So after we get all the interior wiring in the Jeep, we can actually start wiring up the Terminator X for the LS. That way we can power it on and make sure that everything's gonna work. All right, so I've been going through these boxes and checking what we have. There's a bunch of parts in here. Like this one's full of mirrors, rear view mirrors. This one has some used starters. I think an alternator, distributor. Bunch of brackets in this one. Over here we have the shifter boot for the Comanche. If you guys need anything that you guys see here, let me know and I can ship it out to you. Then down here we have some of the V8 stuff for the 5.3. Some Comanche fenders, I think we're gonna use those. I do have this air intake for the 4.0 high output, so if you guys need one of these, let me know. Got some XJ dash bezels as well. I think we have 3 of those, 2 or 3 of those. We have the air intake box for an XJ 94 to 01, and then we have the valve cover. If you guys need any of these parts, let me know. For now, we're gonna throw all the stuff in here. Over here, we also got some XJ trim panels and then the Comanche trim panels. Not sure what we're gonna use. We might use a combination of both, or I don't know, we'll see. We also have that backboard as well. We'll probably refinish that, put a new carpet on it. But it's coming along. Let's see what Boosted has going on over here.
So we're gonna put that through, and then it goes to the factory gas tank, and then this hole and that factory hole, we're gonna run our taillights. Drop that taillight, and extend it to the taillight, and we're done.
So we are working on getting the dash in. Boosted already put all the HVAC stuff. We're doing all the wiring right now. So this is for the XJ. Like I said, we're gonna put it in here. Everything seems to like fit up how it should. One thing that, as I was putting this in, I noticed, so first of all the wires went into the stock holes. And then we have the XJ doors, right? So that plugged in right into the harness. We're gonna have power windows, power mirrors, power locks. It's gonna have all the goodies in here. So little by little, we're getting at it. Next thing is gonna be the brake booster and the steering column. Pretty much almost done with this part. Then we can move on to the fuel tank, the tail lights, and finishing up the engine bay. And for the engine bay, we are using this harness here with the fuse box for the body control, for all like the interior lights, headlights, brake lights, and all that. So little by little, we got a little battery too. And we're putting the battery over here because something's gonna be in the way on this side. And if you guys haven't checked out NajarOffroad.com, go ahead over this month. For August, we are doing an awning giveaway. Same size that was on my Jeep WJ. I haven't put it back on because I haven't put the roof racks yet, but it'll be the same size, so it'll fit perfect on the WJ. Make sure to check it out. Link down below.
Stupid Jeep.
No.
Hey!
Yeah. What were you saying? They're junk?
Yeah.
What?
Don't line up.
It lined up. So I ended up attaching the brake booster, tighten up all the lines. This looks a little ugly, so we might fix that later. John was installing the steering wheel. We got that on there so we can actually turn. We can brake somewhat. We'll see. We still need to fill it up with oil. But now we are working on the seats. Like I said, we used this cross member from the XJ, welded it in. That way the seat brackets are where they should be. On this side right here, we're using a stock Comanche bolt that's from their bench seat, I'm guessing. And then we just have to drill out a hole here and mount it through the floorboard. And we should be good on the seats. And as you can see, it's coming along pretty well. The seats are bolted in. The seats are not going anywhere. They're pretty tight. One thing that Boosted is kind of complaining about is he says the seats feel offset, but we did measure from the XJ and they are where they should be. And even I have to say that I do feel a little bit shifted this way. I can see the gauge is fine. Steering wheel feels good. I mean, I don't know. We'll see once it's done. All right, we got the sketchies going on. We're gonna give it some power, see what it does. Here are the keys. Or want me to do it? All right, let's do it. Tell me when. Nothing. Damn, what do we do?
Got no ground wires.
No lights, no nothing. Right, I don't know what happened, but it's buzzing. Oh, you got turn signals.
I got something. She's pissed. Doesn't start. I don't know what's going on.
Jeep problems. Some footwell lights. We're gonna have to upgrade these to LEDs for sure.
Let's see, we're gonna do more.
Still no. Oh, 181,000 miles. Let's go. Is it even connected, dude, on the back?
Maybe not.
That's why we don't got radio.
I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no plugs in it.
Yeah.
Speakers?
Oh, we got radio.
Oh, no way.
Let's see if the radio works.
Jam, bro.
We got music with the cassette. Let's go. All right, so John over here, he is cutting into the wire harness since we do have to extend it for the taillights. This is an XJ stock harness, so it'll just make everything work easier. And over here, we have the new valve covers on with the MSD coils. And here we have the wiring for the Holley Terminator X Max that's gonna power the motor. And that we tighten to the ignition for the Jeep. And everything should turn on. And if you are doing the XJ conversion for the front end, you do have to replace these brackets, take them off, and use the ones that come on the XJ. So we got the harness extended on the passenger side. We just have to do some wire management, tuck the wires, and make sure that they stay in place, and then connect the taillights. So the lights are working. We have an issue with this turn signal, but we won't worry about that right now. And as you guys saw before, we put in the wire for the Holley. We ran the wire in here, and this is what connects to like the ECU from the Holley system. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that right here. The guy who was doing this Jeep before, he mounted the LS stock ECU right here, so I think that would be a good spot to hide it. So right now Boosted is working on the Terminator X computer, hooking that up. We have the wire sent over here, so some of these need to go to switch, some need to go to straight power, one needs to go to the brake switch, which is right here. So we are doing these temporarily just to test everything out, and then afterwards we will finalize it. Overall, it's a simple install. It's my first time doing anything like this, so from the instructions and all that, I feel like this is something you do need some skill for, but it's not too hard to do. Little things that matter. So we changed out the old switches for the door. Here is the old one. The plugs are different, so this is a 2-prong, and the ones on the extra are 3-prong. Drilled it out 7/16. And then afterwards I took a socket and just screwed it in, and it made the threads onto the sheet metal. Put the new wire in, and we are good to go. So these are the door switches. This guy over here is struggling. So that's pretty much it for this video. This is pretty much all the wiring we could do. We installed the taillights as well. Start making it look more like a finished car. So we have to wait on parts, but we'll get those soon and keep working on the Jeep. For the next video, we will be doing an axle swap on this, so be sure to look out for that. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.